Welcome back with more live football on Sky Sports. Tonight, England's last World Cup qualifier against San Marino from Bologna. Let's just check the odds. Well, as you'd expect, England comfortably odds on. San Marino 50-1, 11-2 the draw. England to qualify for the finals, 10-1 now. To win it, the World Cup, 100-1. Poland to beat Holland tonight, 100-30. Poland to beat Holland 1-0, 8-1. And that's what we need, as well as, of course, 7 goals. We're in the company tonight of Terry Butcher and Peter Shilton. We also have Peter Beardsley and Howard Wilkinson with us. And we've been talking about Graham Taylor all night. Let's hear from him.
Graham, after all the build-up, are you almost relieved that kickoff is now near?
Well, I think it's important, isn't it, for all of us to get this game over, and then everybody will know exactly where we stand.
In the build-up to this one, have you approached it any differently because you know exactly what has to be done?
Well, I think the point is it's been very clear in the players' minds since the Holland game that we have to find at least a 7-goal victory and then keep our fingers crossed for the Poland result. So we've always known what we've got to do.
How happy are you with the players and the mood that they're in?
Well, I think good, because I think, as you would say, I mean, I'm doing this interview here with yourself. You know yourself what surrounds sports people at the very top level. And here we are in a position that's not the best of positions, so there's been a great deal of understandably sort of negative atmosphere and around, and there's the criticism that surrounds everything. That's not always easy for people to sort of cope with, and I think these players are handling the situation very well.
In the last hour building up to kick-off, what kind of things will you be saying to them?
Well, most of that has now been done. I mean, the point is these are seasoned professionals. They know what's required of them, and they've got an hour and a half, which is a long time anyhow, to find the goal tally. We can only do what is expected of us. We can't worry unduly about what's happening in Poland because we have no control over that.
And your thoughts in the build-up to this game, the last qualifier?
Well, exactly the same. I mean, it's unfortunate that we're in this position. I think, I mean, looking at it, it could have been that we may have had to come here to get a result, knowing that if we got that, we would qualify without worrying about anybody else's result. But that's not the case. You've got to face up to what the facts are. We've got to find those goals, and let's hope that Poland do Holland.
Wish you lots of luck. Graham, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is strange, Howard, isn't it? Empty stadium, and I feel nervous sitting here. It is a big night for England, and yet it's flat in there. How much will that affect them?
Well, as I just said, we played out in Barcelona in a game where one team was going to go through, and it didn't matter that there was no crowd out there. The atmosphere in the dressing room was excellent, and in some ways maybe it helped because the atmosphere didn't take players over the top. They went out knowing what they'd got to do.
Doing a considered job.
Yeah. And if England get to 6-0 tonight with 20 minutes to go, you'll see atmosphere.
Well, we'll be keeping you right up to date with everything that happens in Poznan tonight, where Poland play Holland. Here's Gary Bloom.
Well, Richard, the pre-match entertainment here in Poznan is spot the Polish fans. At least 3/4 of this football ground is a sea of orange, with 15,000 Dutch supporters having made the trip. It could be a home game for Holland. It's a freezing night. The street vendors are doing a roaring trade in polystyrene sheeting to sit on to guard against the freezing concrete seats. But the Dutch have turned this into a corner of the Netherlands. They've been singing and dancing in orange Father Christmas hats and orange bubble wigs. As I speak, the stadium is a sea of orange because the firework flares have been ignited as the Dutch make their entrance alongside the Polish team. Christmas could welcome early for these Dutch fans if they qualify for the World Cup. Well, contrary to reports, there are 5 overseas players in the Polish team, which is captained by Everton's Robert Bajika. The Dutch, who are without the suspended Frank Rijkaard, otherwise at full strength. We'll bring you live updates of any goals from Poznan as they happen here on Sky Sports. Now back to Richard Keys in London.
Gary, thank you. Having said the atmosphere here, Peter Beardsley, won't matter. It would be nice to have the sort of support along that the Dutch have got tonight. That would help, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was telling Peter now when we played the Dutch in the World Cup in Italy, I mean, the amazing support they had, you know, like you were saying about the Sea of Orange there, they are incredible supporters. Maybe caused it trouble a few times, but the noise they make is special, and obviously that's in their favour tonight.
Malcolm McDonald there, Peter Shilton, you played in that 5-0, of course, didn't you? At a time when it was possible to beat nations like that comfortably. Has it changed, and are San Marino going to make this difficult tonight?
Well, I certainly think it's got a little bit more difficult, but there's not many San Marinos around, and obviously Holland scored 7 against them, so I suppose you've got to say that we're capable of doing it. But teams are getting more professional, they're better coached, and obviously the gap's narrowing, but San Marino are slightly out of that league.
I noticed a line from Ronald Koeman this week, Terry, that he said that he felt that England would find it easier to score goals tonight than they did at Wembley. Would you agree with that?
Well, possibly, but I mean, seeing the players come out now, they seem very relaxed, and I'm sure they're all looking forward to it. I mean, for quite a few, it could be their last game for the country or last game in a World Cup, so I'm sure they'll be giving it all they can, but it all depends. You know, the first 10 or 15 minutes are very vital, I think, in a game like this, and you know, they've got to set the stall out early, be positive, get stuck in, and make some chances early on.
Well, we're live, as you can see, in Bologna. This is strange, Howard, isn't it? You expect something to be happening at this stage in the game, but there's nothing there, is there? No atmosphere at all.
No, but as I say, I think the players know. They know what they've got to do. I think, like Terry, that there's no way. I mean, in games like this, as a coach and a manager, you actually sometimes think, well, maybe I should shout on there to give the ball to the opposition and say to them, go on, do something so we can get at you. So I think England are going to have a lot of the ball. And I do think it's going to be important in the end that people like Tony Adams, you know, gets in the memory bank and remembers just how good he was 3 or 4 years ago on corners and free kicks. And that Ferdinand does win a lot of stuff in the air, because at times that's going to be the only place to pass it. You know, when they do get up there and the box is filled. And you can't defend that space. And if you get lucky early on and one bounce is just right, Platt runs on to one,
You're in.
you're in.
Let's just pause for a moment to listen to the national anthems. Well, we'll hear from Howard Wilkinson again at half-time. We've got 250 caps in the studio, shared around between Butcher, Shilton and Beardsley. We can take that total well over 300 with our team in Bologna, Malcolm McDonald and Phil Thompson, who's in the commentary box tonight with Martin Tyler.
Hello everyone. England will learn of their World Cup future and do as much as they can to influence it in a setting that's a reminder of one great high from a World Cup past. Belgium were beaten here in Bologna 3.5 years ago on a nail-biting night with an enthralling ending. Can history repeat itself? If this is Graham Taylor's final team selection, it is typical of his time in charge. Likely starters lost through injury. There have been plenty of those over the last couple of years. Paul Gascoigne, Tony Adams and Alan Shearer heading that particular list. Yet another right back tonight, the fourth in the last 4 internationals. Lee Dixon reclaiming the position. And the use of one particular player with the opposition in mind, Stuart Ripley, to raid down the right-hand side and supply the crosses for Les Ferdinand in particular. There's no more patriotic performer than Stuart Pearce, and his return will only add to the never-say-die attitude so necessary tonight. It's a 4-2-4 formation, which also includes Andy Sinton instead of Lee Sharp. Sinton's ability to cross the ball with both feet from the left-hand side, swaying the manager's thoughts to the versatile Sheffield Wednesday player. Whoever San Marino select, they are out of their depth at this level, with the exception of Massimo Bonini, who won so much with Juventus, but at 34 he's currently without a club and looking to a career in coaching. William Guerra returns to the defence after a 3-match ban. He was sent off in Holland in March. After Karl-Josef Assenmacher, the referee is Mohamed Nasri from Malaysia. It's a surprise selection, really, from the England point of view. Although England have seen him before, he refereed the match on that Southern Hemisphere tour when Malaysia lost to England in Graham Taylor's time. So San Marino kick-off. Remember that Holland on this very ground. Oh, it's a mistake by Pearce, and humiliation here. Gualtieri. I was going to say that San Marino conceded a goal in the opening seconds against Holland. Well, it's England that have conceded a goal here. Phil Thompson, can you believe it? Gualtieri is the scorer.
I can't believe it, Martin. We were talking 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes, and we were saying all the possibilities of everything. And I said, what about that? I said, we could easily lose a goal. Absolute devastating.
A mistake by Stuart Pearce, and San Marino, it's only their second goal in the group. And now England, instead of concentrating on 7, have to look for 8. And what will be going through the minds of the players here? Lee Dixon looking to get a cross in and get England going quickly. It's Pearce trying to connect. Well, Graham Taylor must feel that whatever he does now is going to go wrong. He came into this match not knowing whether his time was up. 3.5 years as England manager, 38 matches, and hoping at a time of the football season when we taste the romance in the first round of the FA Cup that fantasy could become fact. In the World Cup, there's Les Ferdinand. With arms raised from both sides, it's a goal kick. Sorry, Phil.
He must wonder what more can go wrong, Graham Taylor. He must wonder what he's done to deserve all this. That is absolutely devastating. But the lads now, they've got to concentrate. If they take goals, let's try and give it a go. But again, we've just seen the first cross, too many players getting in the box. Everybody going for the one ball. We've got to have people, 1 or 2, just hanging outside.
Well, of all the permutations possible tonight, I don't think this one that we're witnessing at the moment ever went through anyone's mind. You did, to be fair, did mention it when we were talking before the game, and I think we all thought, to be honest, that we could never see San Marino scoring against England. Well, that's happened within seconds of the start. And here's Stuart Pearce, Andy Sinton. England want to move the ball at pace, but they were stressing in all the pre-match talking that there's 90 minutes here, that the goals didn't come straight away when the two sides met at Wembley in February. England got a couple in the first 20 minutes. Stuart Pearce back as captain and back with a blunder. Here is Pearce.
As we were saying, we've got to, even in the first 20 minutes, you'd like to think, OK, they're going to hold the positions, San Marino, not come out, just sit there. But again, even if it was still 0-0 as we were hoping, you'd like to think the goals will flow. And we've got to keep our width, we've got to keep movement in the sides, and that goes for everybody, not just the two lads up front, the midfield lads. But Stuart Ripley and Andy Sinton have got to hold those wide positions just to drag defenders out of the middle.
Sinton wearing number 10. Headed out by Canty, cleared by Bonini. A real old warrior of the Italian game in Serie A. England needs some warriors now of their own. Ian Wright, incidentally, for the first time in his England career, has been given the number 8, which, of course, is his club number with Arsenal. With that on his back, he scored so many goals in his domestic career. Just wonder whether that might turn the tide for him at international level. Sinton to take the corner. And Benedettini, the bus-driving goalkeeper, comes well off his line.
But there was nobody within 5 yards of him. There was nobody within 5 yards.
Here's Bacciocchi. Gualtieri. And look at San Marino with all the confidence here. That's Ripley's ball. Right. Well, England a goal down in 9 seconds, and I don't think since England have been playing internationals there's ever been one scored as quickly. And certainly never one that's been scored so surprisingly. Forward by Zanotti. One of 9 of these players who played at Wembley took part in the game. Guerra. In goes Sinton. England trying to get some control of the ball, get some shape into their performance, and still clear their minds of the humiliation of conceding a goal to San Marino.
He just didn't make contact, did he, Martin? He just, Stuart Pearce, he's trying to give the ball and get back out at the same time when he should have been concentrating on his first ball and the most important thing, which is to make a decent pass.
Well, the World Cup's most overworked goalkeeper, Benedettini, hasn't had too much to do so far, whereas David Seaman's picked the ball out of his net. Ripley. Trying to involve Ince. Cleared by the tall Della Valle. There's a lot of height in the San Marino side. Committed to a defensive formation. And Valentini, who is a full-time professional, he operates in what is the 4th division in Italy, and isn't even a starter in his team, Rimini.
Even so, even now, Martin, we've got to still pick up at the back. We're so slack. It's as though, yeah, well, we're going to have most of the ball. They've still got to pick up. OK, they back off, but I think Des Walker and Gary Pallister have got to pick up when they do start coming out, which we're not doing.
The Malaysian referee, Mohamed Nazri. So finally England will get to take the corner, and they hope get something from it to get in the game. Ferdinand, whose leaping ability is so prodigious that watching the England training yesterday, even his squad mates were applauding and wondering how he does it. Phil.
The ball is a better ball. We know how high and well Les can jump. Let's get the ball in there. Let's let it just hang there. It was a marvellous leap, as we've seen in the Poland game. It was magnificent.
Manzaroli clattering into Andy Sinton. And the news gets worse. Dennis Bergkamp for the Dutch. Ripley. Here's Dixon. Let's have a quick word from our man in Poznan, Gary Bloom.
Go, Gary. And more bad news for England because Holland have taken the lead in Poznan after 9 minutes. A ball by Wouters down the inside left channel, and there was Dennis Bergkamp with an instant volley low to the goalkeeper's left. Poland 0, Holland 1. Now back to Martin Tyler.
So 2 goals in the opening stages of the 2 games. From the England point of view, the wrong nets. Pearce takes the free kick. Gary Pallister's right in there, was leaning on. William Guerra. So San Marino, who have never won in the World Cup, just 1 goal prior to tonight, 1 draw in Turkey. Conceded those 10 in Norway right at the outset of the group. 7 against Holland, and they lead England by a goal to 0. I'm sorry to keep repeating it, because I have to believe it. England trying to start tonight with tunnel vision, concentrating on their task of winning by a 7-goal margin. And not to be too distracted by news of Poland's progress. Dixon. Well, things are improving. Poland have equalised against Holland. Never been a World Cup night quite like this one, with as England look here to get themselves on the score sheet through Ian Wright.
Again, maybe Ian could have got across there a little bit quicker, because we have got bodies in the box. We've got to have somebody going to the near post. But again, the delivery's got to be that little bit better.
Let's hear from Gary Bloom again.
The latest score is Poland 1, Holland 1. Within 2 minutes of Holland taking the lead, Lesniak beat down a desperate clearance by the Holland defence. He was one-on-one with the goalkeeper and took the ball past Ederhoe. Lesniak has equalised for Poland. It's now 1-1 in Poznan. Now back to Martin Tyler again.
Well, I'm not sure whether the news has reached Graham Taylor yet, but you will get it first from us on Sky Sports. But apart from the drama in this particular group, there are countries like Spain, Italy, France, Belgium and Denmark, as well as the other British interest. Ireland, of course, straining every sinew to get to the United States.
Just there, Martin, we've got a free kick, and straight away Andy Sinton and Stuart Ripley start moving into the middle. Everybody congregating in there, just taking more defenders in. At least one maybe can stand wide. It's going to create space for at least somebody. But we're just cluttering it up all the time.
Ince has given it away. It's matched by a nervy ball from Manzaroli, but the flag was up in any case. These type of situations have happened before. 10 years ago, Spain needed an 11-goal margin against Malta to reach the finals of the European Championship. They got it in a 12-1 win, and a side which lost out, Holland. Here's Dixon.
See, there's no width. There's no width. Everybody's standing 10 yards inside.
San Marino back off, the Arsenal right back for Ian Wright. Just clipped by Bonini. So here's an opportunity, perhaps for Stuart Pearce himself to make amends for his part in the conceding of that sensational early goal past David Seaman. Bonini pushing right, a yard or so outside the penalty area. San Marino have set 5 in the wall. Stuart Pearce, who scored in his last 2 appearances for England. And Benedettini batters it out. Pearce going in again and pushing as he did so.
When Holland played here, Martin, they came and they got 2 men and he kept them wide all the time. They were basically hugging the touchline. Roy and Overmars, they just stood wide all the time.
Well, Benedettini got into the line of the free kick and you just got a glimpse of the push by Pearce as the ball flew back out. Here's Pallister. With Poland having equalised in Poznan. Well, don't rule England out yet. There is so much work to be done, and Ripley trying to supply some of it here. Bonini. Ince. The expected siege towards the San Marino goal starting to take shape in terms of possession rather than any clear-cut opportunities so far. Ince. Now Ripley, good angle for the cross, just diverted by Zanotti away from David Platt. Gualtieri tangling with Pearce, and it spins away for a corner. "15 minutes gone." England now having to set their eyes on 8 goals. Guerra. Well, even if it wasn't a goal kick, the linesman was flagging offside. It really is an eerie atmosphere here in Bologna. A delightfully built stadium, architecturally very eye-catching, but probably the smallest crowd ever to watch England in a World Cup tie. Around 500 fans officially coming with the Football Association, bolstered by some who've made their own way here. And all of them craving now something from the cross from Dixon.
I don't think I've ever seen such an important game played in a stadium like this. It's absolutely incredible.
Dixon. Sinton coming infield, but the first touch wasn't good enough. Gualtieri. Now a tall Della Valle. Pearce gets it back for England. Sinton. Brought down by Gualtieri, and the Malaysian referee reaches for a card for the scorer of the goal. How odd that England won sensationally here in the last seconds of their last appearance. And now Gualtieri given this game a really amazing beginning. He now has a yellow card to go with his goal. And Ferdinand the main figure. But Pallister is there as well. And David Platt, who's excellent in the air and of course knows how to get goals against San Marino, 4 of them at Wembley. Ripley. Loops up off Gennari. What a miss kick by Valentini, and there was some mayhem in the middle there for San Marino. England camped rather by the far post. Ince has the shot, a flick from Ferdinand, and it spins the wrong side of the post. As Ferdinand made his debut against the San Marinese in February and got the last of the 6 goals.
Again, I think all intents and purposes, we're still going to need some luck in that box. It's easy to say, you know, you like to play nice football, everything should go right, but you still need a little bit of luck.
England are in this position because they failed to beat Holland or Norway. 2 draws at home against the countries in the top 2 positions in the group at the start of tonight. Norway, of course, already qualified. Leeds lost in both those games, and of course defeats in the corresponding away fixtures. A lot of ground to make up. Just in case you're still in any doubt at all, England have to get 8 and Poland have to get at least 1. It's 1-1 in Poznan. Seaman. That's right in the thick of things. Dixon. Now Ripley. Posse of 4 waiting in the centre, including Andy Sinton, who'll try and retrieve it now. Back with Pearce. Walker. Pallister. It might not be Ronald Koeman, but he can pass the ball neatly at times, and he holds that one up for David Platt to try and attack at the far post.
Well, basically, we've not got enough movement in there. Everybody's now setting their mind that he's going to cross it, just going to come straight cross, no problem. There's no movement, there's nobody trying to drag defenders away. See, they're not picked up again. There's not many of them there, they've got to be picked up.
Pearce. And 70 minutes left for England. Bonini. Graham Taylor obviously was inches penalised. Graham Taylor obviously went for Stuart Ripley for this particular game. I just wondered, Phil, whether there might have been a school of thought to bring in someone like Steve Bruce from the back, who regularly comes up and gets goals, in place of a more internationally established centre-back like Des Walker.
Yeah, we could go and we could look at players for particular games. We should look at the likes of sort of, you know, Chris Waddle's been discarded and everything. He could have come in at certain times in games. He'd have been ideal for this sort of thing.
Still, there is time. Graham Taylor said to his team, if you get the job done tonight, your 11 names will be committed to memory by every football fan in England. The side that really sorted it out when the going looked impossibly tough. Ince, there's one. Paul Ince with his first international goal. It's 1-1, but it's given England the zip and zest now, and I'm sure the motivation that Benedettini can be beaten 7 more times.
Couldn't have come from a better man. If anybody's going to show the way, it's going to be Ince. He deserves that goal the way he's played in the last 12 months. But again, we've got a lot more to do. And if I remember rightly, Benedettini, he was similar in that. He got beat quite a few times, shots from that distance against Holland. So we've got to have more. That's our first shot from any sort of distance.
Yes, Wim Jonk, the midfield player, picked up a couple of goals, didn't he, in the first half of that game, which was played in this stadium, and Holland won it 7-0.
Benedettini's a better line player. Any shots, he was always struggling.
Ripley. Header coming in from Ferdinand. San Marino actually playing with 2 up, which I think is possibly the first time they've done that in the group. Although Gualtieri quick to funnel back into midfield when it's required, which is a lot of the time, of course. This is David Platt. So that's the 40th goal in the group to fly past Benedettini. Guerra. England trying to be positive and penetrative in this eerie atmosphere in Bologna. Bonini.
We still haven't really seen England playing any fluent stuff at all. There's not been many passing movements. It seems as though they've got something in the mind where, well, we're going to get crosses in all the time. We've still got to try and play stuff to bring them out. It's got to be that little bit of movement.
Free kick taken by Valentini. Here's Ferdinand. Ripley in the right position for England. Ian Wright in the centre. Ripley goes on. Ferdinand by the far post. Sinton is there as well. And in that situation, it's a bit of a sin to hit the first man with the cross.
That's probably been our best position to get across, and he had plenty of time. And he's not missed out that near post position. Having said that, somebody might have made a move. But it should have been a better cross.
Not a corner to trouble San Marino. England hoping to do better with the second phase of possession. And Pallister, that's well done by Benedettini. Credit where credit's due. This tiny republic of San Marino with only a population of 23,000. We were trying to work out just about how many footballers that would give them to choose from, possibly at the most 1,000. They have a league with 17 teams in it. And here they are at 1-1 with England in the World Cup. Bonini. Bacciocchi. And let's get a quick word from Malcolm McDonald, who's with Nick Collins.
Malcolm, what have you spotted so far?
Well, I think the midfield players are pressurising the forwards too much. The England forwards, they're getting there far too early. We had an incident a while ago where Ripley's made a great run to the byline, and not only the forwards but the midfield players are actually in and stood waiting for the cross. They've got to have more patience. They've got to hold out. They've got to leave the space in front of the forwards so that they can be knocking the ball into them. And when the crosses are coming, I'd like to see Sinton stay much wider. At the moment, he's running out wide to receive the ball.
Thanks, Malcolm.
Here is Andy Sinton. Brush the fingertips of Benedettini. The England players thought, but the referee doesn't agree with that.
Now that's a position there. Andy Sinton with his pace, he's onto the ball quick. He obviously knows he's got the beating of him. In that situation, he had like one-on-one. He could have tried to get into the box. It's nice to get crosses in all the time, but at that particular time, he could have easily have took him on.
Dixon. Lee Dixon again. Ripley. Try for Ripley to take on his marker. And Ian Wright's header drops just over the top. Graham Taylor's recent record doesn't stand too much scrutiny. Just 4 victories in the last 16 games, home and away to Turkey, home to San Marino, and that excellent 3-0 win against Poland at Wembley in September. It seemed to be getting the national team in the right groove for the challenge in Rotterdam. It's Incidentally, only 4 players from the side that lost to Holland last month in the starting lineup tonight. Here's one of those back. Dixon. The old Fox Bonini is there again. And suddenly San Marino break with 3 up. Della Valle doing well on the ball. Bonini supporting from behind, but Gennari had pushed on down the left-hand side. Wasn't prepared to go that far forward. Kept in by Zanotti. Wright has fallen awkwardly. And he is clutching the small of his back. One hopes it's not the sort of problem that ruled Alan Shearer out of Graham Taylor's plans.
He seemed to get a toe end straight into the bottom of his back there. It was incredible because the referee was only about sort of 5, 6, 7 yards away from the scene.
Pallister. Really needs all the belief that England can muster, but they're still in the World Cup. And while there's still time, there's hope. There's about an hour to go. And San Marino are the sort of side that might ship 3 or 4 in quick succession, despite the resilience that they've shown so far. Resilience boosted by taking the lead against England after 9 seconds. Ferdinand. David Platt coming onto this one. Zanotti. Helped by Della Valle. There's Walker, one of those who played in Bologna in 1990. The referee looked as though he came across to have a check with Les Ferdinand, who was not moving too well for a moment, but he's wanting the ball badly now. Ripley. Dixon. Right. Certainly a lot of onus on Wright and Ferdinand to make themselves available. Graham Taylor was saying yesterday he expects them to come off the pitch exhausted, meaning that they're not just going to stand in the penalty area and wait for crosses. Ferdinand flicks it on for Sinton. Pearce galloping up on the left. England flooding into the centre. Can Ripley reach it? He was beaten to it by the diving Gennari. Well, set pieces are one way of unhinging this part-time team. And England haven't done themselves justice with their delivery as yet. Leading on the shot count by the sort of margin that they want to lead on the goals count by. Here's Pallister. Now Wright. With Canty for company. Only Ferdinand in the middle.
See, the likes of corners and things like that and free kicks, we've got a delivery chance to get it in, and we've wasted too many. Sure, Ripley's made a right boo-boo with quite a few there from that right-hand side.
Kept in by Sinton. He's first one on the edge. It's Bacciocchi. He scored the other goal in the group for San Marino, the one before tonight. Ferdinand, foot up. International referees won't allow that, whatever country they come from. Dangerous play. The burly figure of Guerra, well built to withstand that. Benedetini covering well. Ripley, and I think Ian Wright looked offside. Platt shoots. Wright is in there. 2. Ian Wright, with that lucky number 8 on his back for the first time in an England shirt, gets his second international goal. I did feel he was in an offside position earlier in the move. The flag stayed down, and he forced it over the line after Benedettini had just deflected Platt's first effort. Phil.
Again, anything from sort of far out, you've got to sort of wonder about his eyesight, Benedettini. But it's a marvellous, just come at a nice time, and hopefully, as we said, we can open the floodgates.
Ferdinand not quite able to climb high enough for that one. Just over 10 minutes to go to half-time.
But right, Ian Fair deserves something. He played so well in that Poland game and got nothing out of it. Everybody, it was Les Ferdinand's name on everybody's lips, and it's nice to see him getting back on the score. Because as you were saying before, so much is expected of their movements and everything, running. We're going to have that much of the ball. At the end of the day, you want something from it, and it's nice. Hopefully the floodgates could open now.
Dixon. Actually moving in case Benedettini fumbled that. 2-1 to England here. 1-1 between Poland and Holland in Poznan. And where will it end?
Well, you're looking, you're just hoping that you're not talking about long, hopeful crosses all night.
Certainly hope we're not talking about a second San Marino goal. Bonini, nothing to his left, and he was aware of that. Trying to slip it through for Bacciocchi. Platt for Wright to chase. Benedettini has ventured forth outside his penalty area. Pearce going in. And again. Here's Sinton.
I'd like to see Andy Sinton and Stuart Ripley start trying to take on people, try and get in behind them. Andy must have had it drummed into him to try and cross the ball at every opportunity, but there's times where he can just try and take him on. He's got the ability to do it. Let's see him having a little jink and going past somebody.
But even in this position, England still have a chance. 15 qualifiers already for the United States. 8 more will come from 5 European groups tonight. And then last of all, Argentina against Australia from Buenos Aires in the match that starts at midnight. Will England be amongst the elite? Dixon. By Guerra, you could hear Ian Wright's cry of anguish. The pass didn't come from his clubmate Lee Dixon like he wanted. Wright and Ferdinand just have to push back at the moment to avoid being offside. They can go on into the penalty area now. And the ball follows them from Dixon's cross. Comfortably claimed by Benedettini. Manzaroli, Gualtieri. Pallister, space for England to express themselves in midfield. Platt. And it must be, it is 3, Ferdinand. Sloppy defending by San Marino, no surprise in that. And England getting into the groove now after the worst possible start.
Simple one for Les, but like this goalkeeper, he must be one of the worst I've seen. We've allowed him to take too many crosses in there quite easily. I would like to see a bit more pressure put on him, because he is going to make mistakes all night. We can still do this.
Platt. Another England attack. Is it going to be another goal? Not quite for Wright. The England supporters who were flattened at the start do feel that certainly the part that England can play themselves in the equation tonight is becoming more probable than it certainly looked after 9 seconds of the game. Platt, helped on by Wright, and clutched gratefully by Benedettini this time. And an early kick towards Baciocchi, whose control is good. He held off Des Walker, of course, used to be based here in Italy. Pearce. Right, Sinton is there. England moving the ball around the pitch with greater precision now, with greater quality too. Ripley coming into the middle, which is why he's not beyond Ferdinand, but that should stay in. Back for Dixon. Sinton got his head to it. Oh, and Benedettini had luck on his side there. It was a terrific strike from Ian Wright.
I shouldn't have opened my mouth, Martin. And I don't think he knew too much about it either. But as we said before the game, it might be 20 minutes before we scored our first goal. But we still got to keep plugging away, believe in what we've got to do, a bit of discipline, and have belief.
Well, there's more and more of that now. 5 minutes to go to half-time. Well, that was Wright heading across. Funny enough, Ferdinand was loitering outside the penalty area then, rather hanging his head for a moment.
Actually, he was making a good run, that's what I'm trying to say. There was quite a bit of space. Ripley had come wide, there was gaps there, but we seem to have one thing in our minds, is to cross the ball, and everybody was just standing. Ferdinand had made a good run into the little channels, and he should have been given the ball.
Stuart Pearce will be feeling a little happier about things as it stands at the moment. Survivor from the World Cup semi-final, and recognising that this will be his last chance to play in another World Cup and maybe have the opportunity to make amends for that penalty shootout failure against Germany. Ripley gets his free kick. Back comes Pallister. Well, there's no sort of wall there really for Benedettini. When it goes back to full distance, Bonini now and Gennari trying to stick together, they break. And England can't capitalise on the free kick. Ripley. Flag is up for another foul by Gennari. Well, fourth would be halfway before half-time. Here's an opportunity to collect it. Deflected off Dixon's free kick, and if Ince could have just made some sort of contact there, it might have embarrassed Benedettini. Platt, Ripley. Forced wide by the run of the ball. Ferdinand right in the centre, Sinton is there. Comes back for Ince. Guerra came out and got the block. Ripley.
I don't believe that. There's four of them standing in there, and not one of them made a move to the near post.
Here's Dixon. More movement in the middle now. Andy Sinton heads it back, and it was aimed for Platt sensibly. Zanotti diverting it for a corner. There's no wasting any time. Platt acting as ball boy. Sinton spotting the ball up quickly, right. Hoping that maybe something will be flicked on towards him. But it's straight onto the head of William Guerra. Dixon. England camped in San Marino territory. Bonini forced deeper and deeper to defend. Sinton taking the outside route against Manzaroli. It was fine work too, well defended by Guerra.
It's the first time we've seen Andy Sinton do that, and it creates problems.
Final minute of the first half. Ripley. Just too high for Ferdinand, but Sinton's waiting behind him. Pearce, blocked by Guerra. San Marino have a player down injured. And now he will be able to get some treatment before England restart the game with a corner. That's Gualtieri, who started the half in a way which has given him a place in the annals of San Marino football for all time. He's finishing it on a somewhat more painful note. Well, not letting Des Walker go up. Everybody else, apart from David Seaman, though, waiting for the game to restart from a position close to the San Marino goal. Dixon! Well, Poland playing for their own pride, certainly not making it easy for Holland in Poznan. 1-1 at half-time there. Of course, if it stays that way, that's curtains for England, whatever happens here. But it's certainly close enough to remain fascinating for the second half of both games. Ince. Manzaroli putting Ince's relatively recently found self-control to the test. And he passed that test. Sinton claims for handball in there. The referee, who was well positioned looking along that line, says it's a corner.
We need a decent ball in there now, Martin, just to hang it in there. It's right on half-time, they'll know that. Just hang one in there.
It's Ripley, off the head of Canty. Platt going in. Pearce piles it high. And on the stretch, a lack of control in the shot, and it looks as though England are going to have to settle for 3 in the first half. 5 more required.
Better quality crosses just of late. Dixon, a couple of good crosses from the right. Andy Sinton, a couple of good corners, just leaving it hanging in there. And the players rushing in to attack the ball.
Well, the news from Cardiff Arms Park is not good, with Romania leading Wales by a goal to 0. England could not have had a worse start here in Bologna, amazingly conceding a goal on a night when scoring goals was of paramount importance. A goal past David Seaman from Gualtieri after 9 seconds, and it took a while, understandably, for Graham Taylor's team to put it together after that. Paul Ince 1-1, Ian Wright 2-1, Les Ferdinand 3-1. Let's hope there are plenty more to come, at least 5 of them at half-time in Bologna. San Marino 1, England 3.
Welcome back. Half-time then, San Marino 1, England 3. Shots, San Marino 1, and they scored with it. England 12. 6 on target. 3-1. Our guests here, Terry Butcher and Peter Shilton. We're also joined by Peter Beardsley and Howard Wilkinson. So the dream is still alive, Peter, but my goodness me, what a start. 9 seconds and England are a goal down. No one could have predicted this, could they?
Well, I mean, what can you say? It was unbelievable, really. It was just a quick kick-off. You know, we seemed to be obviously just sleeping a little bit, but there was no danger. I think Stuart Pearce meant to touch it back to David Seaman, who was obviously looking to kick it, and the fellas just got the touch. You know, maybe it was in our minds that we were going to get after them and try and get forward, and obviously the court was a bit cold. It must have been... I mean, there was no danger there. I mean, it was just a little touch back, but it's one of those things that happen, but... it was very unfortunate.
Gualtieri, 9 seconds, the fastest goal in international football since records began. England then a goal down. Paul Ince made it 1-1, his first international goal, Howard, and the right sort of character to get England back on the rails.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's over the last 2 years, it's come on leaps and bounds at Manchester United. And this is, you know, we've been talking about strikes. It doesn't matter where they come from or how you get them, and you've got to work the goalkeeper. You know, depending on how good he is, you might get lucky. And he should have saved that, but it's on target, so he's got a chance. He's got a chance, and it's an important goal because I felt we looked as though we thought we'd blown it up until then, and that just gave us that little bit of lift, and we started to believe in ourselves again.
And then Ian Wright, we were all willing him to score tonight, Peter, and more than one, but he gets his name on the score sheet in that lucky number 8 jersey, and 2-1 to England. A typical Wright goal in many ways.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he's always in and around the box, you know, and it was an important goal. As Howard said, we got the first one from Ince, who, you know, is been buzzing about and being determined. But I think this one, you know, that is bad defending all round, really. I mean, I'm not sure the goalkeeper even needs to come out the box there. But Stuart Ripley, to his credit, has done well. But the goalkeeper, if he just stands still, he just picks that up. I don't know where he's going there. He's made a right mess of it. And to be fair, under pressure, he has looked uncomfortable.
6-yard box goal.
Exactly. I mean, Ian Wright went for the first through ball, and then he's in there on the second one.
So 2-1 to England when Ian Wright scored, and then Les Ferdinand made it 3. We were expecting a lot and still more, as I said, about Ian Wright, Terry, from these two tonight. But Ferdinand gets himself on the score sheet.
Yeah, I mean, the actual service hasn't been too good to him, really, and he has been well marked by the defenders. But in this opportunity, there's a bit of a hopeful ball in there. Wright backs off, hits the keeper's legs, and he's in the right place at the right time to put it in. I mean, that's a relatively easy challenge for him, but it was nice to see that one go in. It's a textbook finish past the keeper. He didn't know where he was. Didn't know where he was at all. So it was nice for that one to go in, because it now, with that third goal going in especially, it gives us a bit of a lift going in at half-time, 2 ahead.
So 3-1 to England in Bologna at half-time. Poland and Holland are 1 apiece, and Gary Bloom has more.
Yes, 1-1 at half-time. Dennis Bergkamp after 9 minutes, the equaliser 3 minutes later through a horrific error by Ronald Koeman, who is usually such an immaculate passer of the ball, but he gave it away and Lesniak equalised. Holland have been on top. Roy has made some dangerous raids down the left-hand side of the field. Wouters has been an authoritative midfield organiser, but Holland once or twice have proved unsteady at the back, and Poland will be hoping to capitalise on that in the second period. This match being played in temperatures 10 degrees below zero. Poland still hoping to freeze Holland out for the World Cup next summer. Half-time, 1-1.
Thank you very much, Gary. The dream's still alive in Bologna. Scotland, incidentally, have won tonight by 2-0. Wales trailed to Romania by 1-0. Northern Ireland and the Republic are about to kick off. We'll be back with more live from Bologna next. Welcome back. It's San Marino 1, England 3. Let's grab a quick word with Malcolm McDonald, who's with Nick Collins.
Malcolm, how do you feel England are faring so far?
Well, they pulled themselves back after the initial disaster quite well. And I think that they're showing more and more danger in and around the area. Ripley's getting in some good deep crosses. What I would like to see is Sinton on the other side not come in so early as he is doing. There's been 3 or 4 crosses that have evaded the 2 forwards, and then Sinton's having to backpedal to try and get his header back into the area. Whereas if he comes in much later, he's actually coming in on a volley, and he's got goal chances to be had there, and that means that he'd be stretching the back 4 and could be causing a lot of trouble. And if he's just got that little bit of patience to hold wide, I think that and it'll pull the whole of the defence of San Marino wide, and then also there's the spaces for the midfield players to get through, and Ince is making good runs forward as well. And I'm feeling.
In a word, are England going to do it?
I'm feeling quite confident that they can do it, as long as they don't start to rush. They've got to have a little bit of calm and tranquility about the way that they go forward in their play now.
All right, Malcolm, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, Nick. Before we go, Howard Wilkinson, Poland 1, Holland 1, San Marino 1, England 3. It's still on, isn't it? Can England do this tonight?
Yeah, I think they've got it. I would like to see the goalkeeper be given more work. And I think 2 things about our play. I think we've got to be brighter. I think when the ball goes out of play, when we get free kicks, when we get corners, it looks as though we're going to automatic pilot, you know. And I think the delivery from the wide positions has got to be better, and the people have got to gamble more in the box. Besides that, you know, as I said at 7:15, if we get Tony Adams up on set pieces, we've got a chance.
And yet we haven't been finding anybody really from those set pieces, have we? The corners haven't been so good so far.
Well, no, I think from that you deduce that we do seem under pressure, that we've started the game feeling the pressure. Stuart Pearce's mistake. I mean, it's a hell of a game for the young boy Ripley to come in at, you know, your first game, needing to score the goals that we've got to score. I think we can score them. I think the goalkeeper, given enough work, will concede goals. I think we've got to be bright and we've got to be smarter.
So 3-1 at half-time to England. Let's rejoin our match commentators, Phil Thompson and Martin Tyler.
Thank you, Richard. Well, against San Marino at Wembley in February, England scored 4 goals in the second half and had that David Platt penalty saved. 5 is the target now. 5, and there's hope. And come on, Poland, Phil.
Yeah, I still think we've got a chance. I still think we've got to make sure that we do our end of the bargain. Let's just go and let's just try and get the goals which is necessary, and keep our fingers crossed that Poland can do it. But again, it's the quality of crosses. I'll have to disagree with Malcolm, whereas he said Stuart Ripley's given some good crosses. I'm not so quite sure about that.
Here's Ferdinand. A sloppy start to the second half, but not quite as disastrous as the sloppy start to the first. San Marino scoring straight from the kickoff. All the words that have been written previewing this game, no one predicted that. It's 4, it's right second.
Couldn't have asked for a better start.
Inside the first minute of the second half, England very quickly back in business again.
Again, it was a good run by Ferdinand to get in there, quick, turned, and it was a hell of a good cross, just in between the goalkeeper and the defender, just there. And that is not the easiest thing to do. He's done the right thing, like you'd say to kids, head the ball down.
And Benedettini beaten by the bounce.
Great hope, Martin, great hope now. As I say, we just got to keep our end up.
And we hope that Andy Sinton can get up quickly. In case you're unaware of it, Andy Cole is one of the England substitutes tonight, along with Carlton Palmer, Tim Flowers, Nigel Clough and Paul Merson. Cole, who was summoned from the under-21 headquarters down in San Marino by Graham Taylor. Foul by Della Valle. Norman Medhurst and Fred Street between them checking out Sinton, but there's going to be a change for San Marino. Gobbi is coming on for Valentini, one defender for another.
We've been looking forward to him coming on, Martin, with a name like I think here with this free kick, we've got to get somebody wide. A little bit of a tease and chip, I think, will cause all kinds of problems.
4-1 to England. And what will Stuart Pearce come up with here? Comes back to Pearce again, aware of Sinton's position onside. Sinton urging his rather aching body towards the ball. Bacciocchi came off Ince. Zanotti turning into trouble. Sinton found by Pallister. It drops for Ince, trying to release the ball quickly as he was challenged. Ince wins it back again with typical tenacity. Gualtieri. Travelling out here with England, there was obviously a certain amount of a subdued mood, but definitely talking to the players, the belief that they could get the amount of goals required in this game. And although they've added to their difficulties by conceding one straight away, that feeling of fulfilment in their final group match is shining through. But of course, what is happening in Poznan? Anything significant, and you'll hear it first on Sky Sports. Dixon. Guerra able to let it run. But there will be times of disappointment. It's important for the front men not to become disillusioned, not to hang their heads and ask too vehemently for better service. The chances will surely come.
Because it gets frustrating up there when you're making all sorts of runs, and sometimes the quality of the passing is not as what you would like, and it can get frustrating. But it's got to be done. They've got to keep moving to try and open up things, not only for themselves but for any midfield players who are trying to get in the box.
For a few moments, the ball is in England territory. Manzaroli with the throw. Gualtieri. Brimming with confidence after his goal, his historic goal.
He must have thought Christmas had come early, didn't he? Aye.
Do we call that a set play coming from a kickoff?
Well, you look at things as well. The way he took it, it was as though let's take a chance and get a few bodies forward straight on.
Bonini. Manzaroli letting it run.
I think this is the longest that San Marino have been in the England half.
Gualtieri. Cut it into Gary Pallister. Long from Sinton. Canty still trying to keep tabs on Ian Wright. Nicely touched off by Bacciocchi. Gary Pallister, I don't think is fully fit. He was just labouring to cut that one out. He's been suffering with a calf strain. Dixon. Ripley. Dixon again for Ince. Platt. England concentrating their attentions at the moment down the right-hand side with a triangle involving Dixon again. And Ripley. Free waiting in the middle. Ripley running on. Very much in his style. It's caught the attention of Graham Taylor. He's played in every game for Blackburn this season where there's plenty of competition for places. Pearce with the cross. Out by Guerra. Pallister first to it. The deepest outfield player for England is Des Walker, who hoisted effectively into the danger area, but the flick went the wrong way for Platt, who was coming infield as we look from Ferdinand.
That was our best bit of football that we played over there. There was a nice little bit of movement, which got Stuart Ripley in. There was a little bit more patience.
It's a deep cross from Dixon. Is it too deep? It is. Well, the United States qualify as hosts, Germany as holders, Colombia, Bolivia and Brazil are there from South America, Mexico from Central America, Nigeria, Cameroon and Morocco from Africa, Saudi Arabia and South Korea from Asia, from Europe, Norway, Sweden, Russia and Greece, and the rest will be known, well, within the hour, with the exception of Australia and Argentina, who play in Buenos Aires. The midnight kickoff tonight. Pearce. Here's Ferdinand. That was back on his heels. Bonini with quick thinking. And good ability on the ball. He's always a very fierce competitor with Juventus in an excellent midfield, along with Michel Platini, of course, did a lot of the donkey work for the great Frenchman. And had some successes against English clubs, did Bonini. Pearce. Gualtieri working hard for San Marino. Helped on by Ferdinand. Their goal, of course, tonight, furthering their cause to try and stay as a World Cup nation and not get involved in maybe a preliminary group competition before they even win a place in the main qualifying group stage. I think they certainly support the argument that they shouldn't be in from the outset. David Platt flying through the air. And, back trying to get a tackle in. Pallister. Now Dixon. Ripley ahead of him down the touchline. Coming for the ball to feet. Holland have taken the lead in Poznan for the second time this evening. Dennis Bergkamp with his second goal. A player, of course, scored home and away against England. A corner for England here. It gets more and more uphill for Graham Taylor's team. Sinton takes it. Benedettini coming through the crowd. Ferdinand with another of those excessive leaps. And
again, that's a devastating blow for Holland to score. But again, we've just got to do our thing. We've got to try and score the goals necessary.
Benedettini knocks it out. Sinton calling for it. Might have taken it first time. Easy to say that from up here. Possibly wouldn't have had a sight of goal with so many players. A chance to hear the news from Poznan from Gary Bloom.
Bad news, I'm afraid, for England, because Holland have swept into a 2-1 lead, and a second goal for Dennis Bergkamp, converting Brian Roy's left-wing cross. He was completely unmarked to sweep the ball in from about 5 or 6 yards. It's Poland 1, Holland 2. Back to Martin Tyler in Bologna.
Thank you, Gary. Here it's San Marino 1, England 4. It might soon be 5, but for Benedettini's bravery there at the feet of Ferdinand.
I think we've just got to step up the game a little bit. It's just gone a little bit flat for us, Martin. We've got to just step it up that little bit more. More pressure.
Gualtieri, Manzaroli. Bonini. Della Valle, blocked by Ince. Well, there was no offside because the substitute Gobi was dropping back, not on the same wavelength at all as the players he's just joined.
I think he got just a little bit of a bad bobble there, Paul Ince, just as he went to play it. See, there's times there we're standing 4 at the back. We've got 4 players there, and there's only Bacciotti up front.
Pearce. England have added 1 since half-time, but so have Holland, with all the sinister overtones of that from England's point of view. And whatever you might feel as feel for Graham Taylor, the football manager. You certainly must feel for Graham Taylor, the man, in these circumstances. Especially now, San Marino head for David Seaman's goal again. Crowd trying to get behind England with Dixon. Long for Ripley, Guerra, the covering player at the back. A confident covering player there, that was very neatly done. Bonini asking a lot of Della Valle. Prodded back to Pearce by Platt. Well, England not giving it up, either in that incident or in the context of the group.
Yeah, we've just lost our way just a little bit. We're going to have maybe a little bit more movement. It's nice to see Paul Ince trying to chase the lost cause there.
Galtieri, oh, it was close, and the flag was up for offside. Whether that was a deliberate trip or not by Pearce on Paciocchi, we don't need to know. But what action the referee might have taken if there hadn't been a flag raised. Bonini. Ince. Ince again. Now Pearce. Not ruled as deliberate handball. Della Valle certainly struck his arm. 4 forward for San Marino. Paciocchi. Oh, it's hit the post! From a good 25 yards, possibly even further out. Gennari cutting it out from San Marino, enjoying themselves here. And really so unlucky not to have a second goal.
He's hit it quite well, but we give the ball away too cheaply. Round about the halfway line.
A cross from Ripley. Oh, a good save from Wright as he looked for the hat-trick by Benedettini. Well, it's much more of a match, really, than I think we expected. That's not helping England, of course.
It has in this last 10 minutes. We've just lost our way.
Guerra, Manzaroli. The flyweights of the group taking on one of the heavyweights and finding they've got a bit of a punch. Half an hour to go. Half an hour left in England's World Cup campaign under Graham Taylor. Unless the fates conspire England's way. Through a rush of goals here and from Poland in Poznan. To remind you just again, England need to score 4 more to fulfill their half of the bargain. Ripley. Wright's gone offside, but Ripley's kept the ball, and Guerra is going to become the second San Marinese to get the yellow card.
Looks as though we're trying to get... Well, we're too over-anxious now. Some of the passing, we've been giving the ball away very, very cheaply around the middle of the park. Maybe somebody's just got to sit on it a little bit. Just control the play.
The yellow card for Guerra. The number is up for Paciocchi. He's often replaced by San Marino, a lad who works in an ironmonger's shop, who has now finished his work in this World Cup group with 1 goal to his name. He came in Turkey, and on comes one of the 2 Mazza brothers, Paolo. Galtieri. Marco Mazza, his brother, is suspended. He was sent off against Holland here.
We've even stopped getting crosses in from any area now. It's been quite a while since we've had a cross of any sort. Let's hope they're not losing heart down there.
The just hit a spell where it's almost as if the players have heard the news about Dennis Bergkamp's second goal in Poland. They've got to be professional. They've got to do all they can within their power. And that's still plenty in truth. Ripley. Ince. Ian Wright finding himself in a wide position and not producing the best of crosses. Well, when you think back to the start of the group when England were a goal up against Norway and looking pretty comfortable, and then Rekdal produced that bolt from the blue to give the Norwegians a point and a real fillip in their boost for the qualification they now have. In from Ripley. Ferdinand. Benedettini's beaten to it by Wright. And although the San Marinese defenders claim a foul on the goalkeeper, it's a corner for England.
Nothing wrong with that. It's a great leap by Ian Wright.
Bonini heading out the corner from Sinton. Pearce back towards Andy Sinton again. It's out of play. Let's have a quick comment from Malcolm MacDonald, who's with Nick Collins.
Malcolm, how are you assessing England's second half performance?
Well, I think just the last few minutes, they've just gone off the ball a little bit, and the reason for that is that they're trying to do the impossible at times. Instead of having a little patience and playing the ball about on the safe passes, they're trying to knock the ball through gaps that just aren't there.
OK, thank you, Malcolm.
Ripley. Another corner for England. And the clock, like the sword of Damocles, hanging over the England players at the moment. Ripley to take it. Oh. Well, it was a volley worthy of being unleashed against better opposition, really. It didn't bring the goal that England desired. It was a rasping try from Les Ferdinand.
An absolute thunderous shot, wasn't it? I don't think anybody moved, never mind a goalkeeper.
Pallister. That's a push, and it's a free kick to San Marino. Well, there are those who count the ratios between shots and goals. A number of prominent managers believe that the figures do not lie in that respect. England needed 33 shots to score their 6 goals against San Marino at Wembley. They've got 4 goals from 16 shots here.
I think Gary Pallas is maybe struggling a little bit there, Martin. He's not looking too comfortable.
It's not good news for Manchester United.
Let's hope he's all right.
Bonini with a San Marino corner.
Oh, that's not bad.
Getting off the ground. Of course, the thought will be going through Graham Taylor's mind, I'm sure, as to whether to involve an international rookie like Andy Cole, who's been in marvellous form for Newcastle. Dixon. Back from Ferdinand. Sometimes it could be a case of too many cooks spoiling the broth. If you get too many bodies in there, they get in each other's way. It's all about getting the balance right, and most importantly, the way England are playing, getting the ball in right from wide positions, from set pieces. Another opportunity here with an Andy Sinton corner. San Marino 1, England 4, Poland 1, Holland 2. Pallister. And it's dropped wide from right. Got too much on it, really, Phil.
Yeah, it's a great ball. Gary Pallister's, it's a tremendous header. He's just put it back into the danger area, and I think maybe Ian was expecting a little bit of a clout from the goalkeeper. As you can see, he just takes his head away from it a little bit.
All this on a stage so far removed from the World Cup finals, really, in terms of atmosphere. You can hear the calls from the players. Like a training exercise, really. Except, of course, the stakes are so high. John Smith, England players' commercial advisor, was telling me yesterday that it'll cost the squad around £1 million if they don't qualify. At least £1 million, he said. But it's not about money at this stage. It's about ambition and pride and patriotism. And of course, in the end, it'll be about recrimination if it goes wrong, why it went wrong. And if it does, in the end negatively for England, let's hope that those who plan for the future use the opportunity wisely.
I think so. I don't think if and when it does happen, I think things have not just got to be pointed at Graham Taylor. I think it's the whole structure of our game has got to be looked at. It's quite easy to blame him, and Graham will probably hold his hand up and know he's made mistakes. But I think there's a lot of other men, some of them not even football men, who should look at themselves.
It's very much a football man. Bonini knew what he was doing then. And it's a free kick to England. Very sharp not pass. Andy Sinton to take it. Just over 20 minutes left. At the very least, England have to double their tally. Oh, and the fine save from Platt, I think it was, who guided it on. Benedettini flipping it over the top. Well, Wales still in the frame and still fighting at Cardiff Arms Park. 1-1 against Romania. Hung up for Pallister to get two again, and so frustrating when those don't drop the right way. And then there's a foot raised by Ferdinand. Something he was never going to get away with.
Again, it was a tremendous save. He's had a terrible night, but he pulled off a magnificent save then.
Manzaroli. Sinton smuggling it back England's way to Walker. Taken on by Dixon here. Manzaroli covering down the right-hand side as he's done throughout the evening. But it's Ince. Through in a line for England in the middle, and by being in a line, they weren't actually helping each other. Ripley, it was Kanté who cut it out, back with Pallister, everyone but David Seaman in the San Marino half. And Ferdinand flying in, it's too high. Superbly again. One thing Graham Taylor hasn't had the best of luck with has been the availability of strikers. Alan Shearer, of course, has missed much of the World Cup group. There have been times when Wright's been injured. Ferdinand's pulled out of a couple of games this year.
I know Shearer's been injured, but I'd have gone with these two anyway. Wright and Ferdinand after the great performance against Poland.
Kalamatsa trying a little crafty ball there in behind Pallister, who saw it coming. It all seemed to be going so well for England when they were 2-0 up at Wembley against Holland just before half-time. Bonini. Just feel England needs something to spark them off again here, whether it's another goal or whether
It's been like
news
this
from Poland.
It's been like this for about the last 15 minutes. I'm just lacking that little something in there. It's certainly not that. You can see Ian Wright and Les Ferdinand getting a little bit frustrated now.
Platt. Here's Dixon. 4 in a line forward for England. Reasonable amount of width. Ferdinand is pulled out, and Wright was the target of the pass. Phil, when England went out of the World Cup in '82, you were on the side that we only needed 2 to beat Spain, and it finished 0-0. And I can remember similar scenes of frustration like this. The ball kept going into the penalty area.
It's a terrible thing to do when you know you've got to score a certain amount of goals or whatever. It's so difficult. You know, your mind's there. You know, you sometimes, as these lads have done, try and get the ball in too early. Try and rush things.
Pallister. And he's hitting that. Walker saying, I'll have this one. There's no offside, and this is Les Ferdinand. San Marino claiming handball. Still Ferdinand. And it is 5-1. Paul Ince gets his second.
Again, as we said, we've just got to do our stuff. We can't do anything about the Holland-Poland game. We can't do anything about that at all. Let's just do our stuff here.
And Ince, who hadn't scored for England before tonight, now has 2 to his name. And it's San Marino 1, England 5. But it still has to be done in tandem with something polished from Poland. Three goals in 16 minutes required here for the team wearing red, as England, of course, did when they won the World Cup in 1966.
You think maybe, looking at the game, Ripley's being picked up by Gennaro. You could have been tempted to say, hey, just have a little wander, maybe change sides, see what happens. But they've just stayed there, and Andy stayed on the left.
Here is Ripley, veering in, going his own way. I've seen him do that before for Blackburn, and for his previous club, Middlesbrough. It's a bit unlucky, Stuart Ripley, in that Gennaro, who's played in every game for San Marino in the group, is one of their better defenders. There's a good tackle from him here. Ince. And Paolo Mazza. San Marino can't get anywhere away. Ferdinand. Pearce wants it, but it goes back into the mixer, as they say. Dixon. Gennaro brings it away. Platt. Wales are in front. That might be enough in Cardiff. Ince. And it's wide from Sinton.
As we were saying before, Martin, too many kooks at times. Nobody knew what was going on.
Well, they were all flying in. Eventually it came to Andy Sinton. The bounce wasn't easy at all.
Well, the success stories, obviously, for Graham Taylor has been the performances of Paul Ince. He's shown a great attitude tonight. Once again, by the way, it's not just a one-off game for him. He's been a revelation.
Zanotti. Well, that's a sad correction to have to give you. It's still 1-1 in Cardiff. Ferdinand. And the Malaysian referee, after some thought, points for a goal kick.
Just for once there, Les seemed to get up a little bit too early. Cross committee seemed to be already up there, and it come off his shoulder, I think.
England failed to qualify for the 74 finals. Then it was Poland who were the barrier. failed to qualify in 78. That was the last time England missed out on the final stages, when Italy had the edge in the group. Pearce. Gualtieri, and now Palamazza. Oh, Ferdinand. Foul by Copy. It's very untidy and scrappy, and it's a weary England now as Palamazza tries to catch David Seaman off his line. Ripley. He seemed to have plenty of the ball, Stuart Ripley. Pallister. Wright. The hat-trick, it's given. Ian Wright, who's laboured long and hard and often in vain for international goals, is seeing some of his dreams come true here, but in what context? It's 6-1 to England, 3 of them to Wright. People have often, as critics have been there for England, saying, but he's worked tirelessly for England's cause, and he's getting his just desserts tonight. Maybe a little suspicion of offside, but again, he's concentrated, kept his eye on the ball. And as we said, these could still fold. It's always needed a double act here tonight, and it's 2 goals required for England and 2 goals required for Poland in the time that remains. Ferdinand. This seems to have kick-started our game again. And there's no surprise in that. Ince was also on a hat-trick, of course. Great friends, roommates Paul Ince and Ian Wright, been inseparable in the hotel over the past couple of days. And they've done all they can on a night when England needed a near miracle. It's a fine ball forward from Pearce. Wright was certainly onside that time. I shared your doubts, Phil, about the linesman's wisdom in keeping his flag down on the 6th England goal, but keep it down he did. It's a corner. Pallister. Wright hoping to be able to swing a foot at that. Pearce. Now Sinton. It won't do too much to ease the pain of failing to make the final 24 if it does happen for England. But there would be some satisfaction for the players if they could get the required number of goals here. Which was all, in truth, they could ever do tonight, whichever way it happened. And Paul Ince, who has really grown up during the time of this World Cup campaign, and is now an outstanding international footballer. But how meaningful will be the internationals that he plays over the next couple of years? England, of course, automatically into the finals of the next major competition after the World Cup, the 1996 European Championships. Sinton feeling frustrated, wanting sterner action from the referee.
I know David Platt has made a good captain when Stuart Pearce has not been playing, but the future England teams, yeah, I think Paul Ince, he's given a few of those decisions actually.
Yes, it was a throw, not a free kick. It was a decision. That's why Sinton was annoyed. Pallister. Walker plays it and moves on. Dixon out to Ripley again. Ferdinand. Guerra getting the benefit of a perceived deflection off Les Ferdinand by the linesman. It's a throw to San Marino. 3 goals for Ian Wright. 2 for Paul Ince. And 1 for Les Ferdinand, the England scorers. England having to come from behind, of all things, against San Marino. Oh, and Wright's in again!
It's
Ferdinand, sorry, yes, Ferdinand that time, and he hasn't had the success that Ian Wright has had, and it was a good chance.
It was a great chance. That's probably one of the easier ones of them all. It's a good ball in. He's only got I think the pace was on the ball. He only had to put his head to, and he's trying to flick at it.
Well, I can't make the excuse for the misidentification with tears in the eyes, but I'm sure there are plenty watching who are feeling that sad at this stage. The World Cup, the centre stage, what everyone dreams of, what Graham Taylor dreamed of in his privileged position when he took over the mantle from Bobby Robson, a World Cup semi-finalist. But England haven't done enough here. Poland haven't done enough in Poznan. And in truth, England haven't done enough over the 9 previous games to be in a position of greater strength.
I think the biggest thing is you've got to win your home games. You must win your home games. And after being in good positions against Norway, against Holland, we lost it.
It has, throughout the group, been a cynical side to San Marino. Well, the worst of the Italian game. Well, the last kick that Stuart Pearce had in the 1990 World Cup, of course, was a penalty against Germany. And we all know what happened then. It's not exactly going to be his last kick this time, but one of the last, maybe his last strike at goal.
We're not 10 yards away there.
Not by any means. Oh, and the goalkeeper spilled it. Who's going to turn it in? They can't find either Platt or Wright, who fought each other for the right to score and impeded each other in the end. Ripley. Platt over the top.
I don't believe that.
If ever a goal looked a certainty, but in the end, credit for Kanté, who was the saviour at the end of the scramble. And David Platt, who scored 4 times, of course, against San Marino at Wembley, hasn't scored at all tonight.
He'll have thought then that his name was going to be on the score sheet.
Ince, foot raised by Ferdinand. It's just, it seems now, Phil, prolonging the agony here.
Yeah, I think so. They've tried to stifle England whenever they can. But we've got to look at it now, and minutes are ticking away. You know, teams to go to the World Cup, the big stage, you look at it and you'd like to think teams who go there deserve to go there. And I don't think we've done enough. We've made mistakes. We've been punished for them.
We have to look back to 1990, and I think that really confirms it now, with Holland getting a 3rd goal in Poznan. All credit to them. by no means an easy situation, bitterly cold in Poland. So England just have to see it out on the night now and hope they can embroider the record books with 1 or 2 more goals and improve 1 or 2 personal statistics. But collectively, the World Cup campaign is going to end in a disaster. England are not going to qualify. Let's go to Gary Bloom in Poznan. Gary.
Holland are going to the World Cup finals in the United States of America next year. They've scored again to make it 3-1 with just a minute left. This one scored by Ronald de Boer, put through by Aaron Winter. There's no way back for the Poles now. It's Poland 1, Holland 3, Holland on the verge of victory. And they're through again here. Here's de Boer, who could make it 4. He's hit the underside of the bar. It's still 3-1 to Holland. Back to Martin now.
Thanks, Gary. Here's Pallister for England, a last hopeful ball forward. Pearce. Cleared by Bonini.
Time ticking away, and we can do without that as well.
You have to go back to 1990, and there weren't too many dissenting voices when Graham Taylor was given the job as manager of England. It hasn't worked out the way he wanted, the way the country hoped for. There's been no shortage of effort on the manager's part.
No, I think all said and done, he's done his best. What he thought has been his best. Obviously, like he's made mistakes after games and things.
Well, the recriminations will start very soon, and the manager has admitted he will carry the can. Ince. Pearce with the cross. Paolo Mazza, Manzaroli. And you have to say now, it's no longer a question of whether there will be a new England manager, it's a question of when and who.
Well, I would think so. We come back to, we say he's done his best. Obviously, we need to change of direction, change of personnel. I think it's quite obvious. Let's be dignified about it. We've had a traumatic time in the World Cup, in the games. Let's be dignified. Let's not, I hope it not be done tomorrow straight away. Sit down, and let's say it's not just Graham Taylor who's got to look at himself. I think there's quite a few other people.
Well, the men who will be deliberating on the future of the England management, Sir Bert Millerchip, Peter Swales, the chairman of the International Committee, who's not here tonight, we understand. And, of course, Graham Kelly. A lot of debate as to whether a new system will be put into play with a senior man, maybe even Bobby Robson himself in that capacity. Jack Charlton's been mentioned. Of course, he has a job at the moment. Ray Wilkins is a young number 2. I think Ray might fancy that role if it came his way. Brian Robson, another who might be available at the right time with the sort of pedigree. But that's all conjecture, all speculation. The fact of the matter is we're moving into stoppage time here. And it's been a vain chase for England, just as it was for Lee Dixon then. Certainly not helped by one of the most amazing openings you will ever see to any international match anywhere. England are officially out of the World Cup because Holland have won in Poland by 3-1. 2 from Dennis Bergkamp and 1 from Ronald de Boer. And hard on the heels of exit for England, are Wales going to follow? That's desperate for Terry Yorath.
Graham must thought it was like a dagger going into his chest when that first goal went in. We couldn't believe it. Obviously, he must have been absolutely devastated.
Mazza. Here's Ince fighting to the very last, and Ian Wright gets another one. 7-1. It's a final flurry when the die is already cast. And although Wright rushes back to restart the game, it's come too late because Holland are already home and dry. But here it's San Marino 1, England 7, and Ian Wright has 4 of those 7. And I bet he wished he'd worn the number 8 shirt a bit more often for England. His first time tonight, and it's, well, it's superstition, but footballers are full of that. And he's got 4 goals, and on England drive again, deep into stoppage time.
At least we've kept going. We've kept going. At times it's not been pretty at all, but we've had to dig in there, muck it with them. It's just very, very sad.
Pearce. Out by Guerra. Still no sign of the final whistle. Pallister. It's Gennari. The crosses keep coming in. Platt. Remember, England's side of the equation was a 7-goal margin of victory. And even that as yet has not been achieved because, astonishingly, San Marino got the first goal of the night. But it's a stirring end.
Just get the ball in the box.
It is. England have failed to make the 1994 World Cup finals, and on both counts tonight go out of the competition, unable to put San Marino to the sword sufficiently to stake a claim for qualification. The final margin, despite 4 goals for Ian Wright, was 6 in a 7-1 success. 2 for Paul Ince, the other from Les Ferdinand, and no help on offer at all from Poland against Holland. Holland have won 3-1 in Poznan. So Holland joined Norway as the qualifiers from Group 2. England drew with both of them at Wembley and lost both away games. On that evidence, there can be little cause for complaint. And as the players go off, you have to say that this signals the end of the reign of Graham Taylor as the England manager.
Stuart, the England dream is over, but were you pleased with the way the players kept battling out there?
Well, we kept going right until the end, you know. After my mistake in the first minute, our backs were against the wall, basically. It got their tails up a little bit, so obviously I'm gutted for I believe I've let the boys down tonight.
England did manage to get the 7, though, didn't they?
Yeah, we kept battling away and we knew we'd get chances, and all credit to the forwards, they got the goals we wanted, but we didn't keep our bargain at the back. We've let a silly goal in.
Graham Taylor, what was he telling you at half-time?
Basically to keep our shape and keep playing, don't get frustrated, you know. And in the end we got 7 goals, but we let one in.
Were you aware of what was going on in Poznan, the score at all?
Only at half-time we heard they were drawing, but we were too concerned with what we were doing, actually. OK.
Stuart, thank you.
Well done, Stuart Pearce. You can understand him being emotional there, can't you? But my goodness, he didn't let the boys down tonight. 7-1 win. But of course, with the result in Poznan tonight, Holland winning 3-1, while England were going out anyway. The crowd there are chanting, if you can hear. I don't know if you can, but I can. We want Taylor out. I think inevitably that's going to happen now. Howard Wilkinson, how do you feel tonight?
Actually, more disappointed than I ever imagined I would feel. Because undoubtedly, appearing in the World Cup is a big plus for English football. But you know, sitting here tonight, I didn't realise how interested I was in it. If you understand what I'm saying, as a fan as opposed to a manager. So it's very disappointing. And on top of that, getting the Wales result coming in, it's just a very disappointing evening. Very disappointing, and that's a fan's point of view rather than a manager's, I think.
Terry Butcher, how do you feel?
Well, I'm very disappointed. I mean, the three of us here have been to World Cups, and it's a great experience. And disappointed for the players who, they obviously gave their all tonight, and it just wasn't to be. But the damage was done early on in the competition, and I've been in a similar situation when we didn't qualify in Luxembourg when we beat Luxembourg, and obviously Denmark had gone through, and the dressing rooms look like a morgue. You just can't say anything, can't do anything, and at the end of the day, you just try and pick yourself up really and look forward to the game on Saturday.
Stuart Pearce didn't let his teammates down tonight, Peter, did he?
I don't think Stuart ever lets anybody down. Obviously, the first goal was down to him, I think. But you can't blame the performance or the result on Stuart. I think we did as much as we could tonight, but obviously, we left ourselves with too much to do. It's just very disappointing for everybody.
Peter, is there anything that you can add?
Not really. I think, as they were saying, the damage was done before. I think Stuart's disappointed. He knows he's made a mistake, and unfortunately, in terms of the 7 goals, they've got the 7 goals, but the one, in that respect, has let them down. The only bonus, as you say, is that Holland have done a good job, professional job, and got a good result, and on what I've seen, fully deserved to go to the World Cup.
I mean, that is a relief, almost, Howard, isn't it? That they have won tonight, and England haven't failed themselves.
Apart from Stuart Pearce's mistake, England's result tonight was nearly everything that could have been asked. I mean, San Marino, it's San Marino, but what have other teams done against them? And England had to go out and score 7. They knew that. So that apart, so it is really, in a sense, you can deal with a lot better, knowing that you haven't failed so much as Holland have succeeded.
Well, that's where we'll take a break. In a moment or so, we'll be getting some more expert chat from the boys in the studio here, and we'll be hearing from Graham Taylor, the England manager. The result tonight, San Marino 1, England 7. The analysis, all the goals again, after the break.